Hi guys, so a lot of you know me as Hex, and I mainly write about life situations and thought processes and just the deeper parts of what it is to be human. And I've always wanted to make videos about it, but I was always afraid that I would be one of those creators that talk about stuff and just end up bawling about it. So I was very reserved with showing the emotions and the reactions to all of the topics that I talk about and I write about, mainly write about. I do art about it as well, but mainly write about it. Since I was about 23, I have been very adamant of harm reduction, self-harm reduction, and prevention of eating disorders and how to recover, and being, at the very least, emotionally supportive to other people that have experienced those things. It's very personal to me. And I had identified that I had these issues, and I sought help because of it, and a lot of people have met me through my video after I got out of the hospital. So this is not an easy video, but I'm ready. So for the past 10 years, through art, through my writing, through the things that I repost and share, a lot of it is mental health advocacy. I have always felt like I am not a role model. I'm not a good role model, like ideal role model. So who am I to try to tell people how to get out of the ruts that they're in? And so a lot of judgment of myself that I have no right to try to help anybody out. And so that prevented me. It has been 10 years, and that has been on my mind a lot lately. Not just I've been advocating for it, but my journey as a whole has been 10 years of studying, outreach, conversations, and a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. And I want to tell you guys why I'm crying and why I feel like I'm finally called to voice this and show people all of it. Not just these are thoughts about it, or this is an image of this emotion, or this is an interpretive dance of, honoring my ancestors and trying to cope with death. And I have used a lot of other outlets to not use my voice, to avoid using my voice. And I'm crying because this very depressing, morbid, sad outlook on life has become one of the most beautiful unfoldments I've ever experienced. There became this pressure once you have a bigger account, people hold you very accountable for what you post, what you advocate for, and, why are the bigger accounts not talking about it, which shrunk me. There's so many things to advocate for, and my place is in the mental realm. It is how we perceive our reality and how we have intelligence towards emotions. So this video became an idea because I was going through a lot of family photos and stuff for Father's Day. I wanted to make my father a collage of all the beautiful moments that we've had. And I started thinking about just, holy shit, everything, most specifically, me and my father have gone through together. How strong humans in general are, and just totally overwhelmed with where we're at and where we started, him being a father and me coming into this world, that they were one of the same. So where we're at now sent me down a very nostalgic lane. I don't have very much documentation from the beginning of my journey anymore. A lot of it's been lost. But I want to start at the very beginning because that was the loneliest and that was the hardest. So I guess we're going to have to see if my storytelling is as good as my writing. So I developed a very, very serious eating disorder in my early 20s. I had always struggled with it, but it became serious in my early 20s. And something in me, I wouldn't call it an aha moment, I wouldn't call it an epiphany moment, maybe a curiosity of the other side, because that is usually why I'll pivot. So I decided to get out of my head and start going for walks. And I would do it every day at the same time. And this is where my journey began. One screenshot from this experience has survived. From the very beginning of these walks that I would go on. It started with 1/4 mile. And then the next time I would walk, go a little bit further, keep going further, keep going further. And essentially, in the mental realm, I am distancing myself from this person I don't want to be anymore, from this pain that I've put on myself. I am physically moving myself away from that timeline. A major reason why I decided to get better was because I knew my dad loved me. That has never been a doubt or question in my mind. I always had my father's love, and I'm doing this to myself. And I wanted to make him proud. So 1/4 mile turned into 10 miles in a month. And because where I was at in my life, I wasn't defending myself. And once I had gained enough to feel comfortable in my next chapter, I had a goal. I was 70 pounds when I went into the hospital. They discharged me once I had gained another 10 pounds. And once I had gained another 10 pounds, I started training Krav Maga very passionately. And in 6 months, not only did I learn how to defend myself, I was teaching children how to defend themselves. I was training with black belts until my injury, and I ended up putting on 35 pounds within 6 months, which is an amazing accomplishment. And that is where everything about me changed. Most people are aware mind, body, and spirit have to come together, right? So through martial arts, it became this mental clarity. Through being able to walk in peace, spiritually connected, back in full alignment, in an alignment that I have never touched in my entire life. And that was life-changing. The real journey was, how do you keep the momentum? How do you get better? How does this become a daily act, not just a moment?